You know what this video reminds me of? I think it's Goodnight Juliet. Played on the saxophone. Goodnight Juliet. Oh, Julia. Beautiful song. Beautiful, beautiful. Especially the way this
The
plays
Labrador
it.
Retriever and the
Oh my God,
Golden
we got a
Retriever
fucking ad.
look similar.
Damn, it starts abruptly. Alright, but look, lock in. And you know the crazy thing is, or I've always tried finishing Cowboy Bebop, but I've never actually finished it. You know what? This one's also pretty good. But let's just leave it at that. Let's get to some gameplay.
Previously on Alan Wake, I wrote a horror story that has come true. Thomas Zane did the same in the 70s.
You will go no further.
If I continue like the Dark Presence wants me to, the story I'm writing won't save Alice. It's a horror story. No one will survive.
You knew Zane! Thomas Zane! You're the Lady of the Light in the song!
He left something behind to help me. The clicker.
Alan thought of this as he stood on the rim of Cauldron Lake, the clicker in his hand. He took a deep breath and jumped.
I can get to her now. I can finish this.
2 years ago. Jesus.
I had a hangover. My head was about to explode and the light hurt my eyes. I needed my sunglasses and painkillers to dull the pain. In one of my finer moments of self-deception, I swore to quit drinking. I wasn't sure if I could face the world without my sunglasses and something for my headache. The pills worked fast. The prospect of being awake started to seem bearable again.
Where are my sunglasses at? Oh, Here they are.
The sunglasses made the world look bearable. Now I could keep my eyes open without feeling like a vampire in the sun.
Yeah, that's why I got
There was a message waiting for me on the machine.
That's why I got transitional glasses. See, I was gonna do this, but since I'm not running multiple fucking screens, I can't really see. I can do it right here. Watch. Let me see if this works. It's probably not though, cause okay, that should work. Now look, this is the video that came up.
The dark place was an endless waking dream. I saw visions carried by the ebb and flow of different dream states. They seeped in from the reality beyond. Things I had a connection to, but also things I couldn't possibly know. I used them in my writing to make it real, so that the parts that weren't would become so. And there were visions that I knew were not real, ideas I had lost, often of Casey. I had written about him for years. I used them as well. The lies had to feel true for them to become true. Had I always written this way? Even before, seen things without realizing I was seeing them,
Lies had a
thinking they were mine.
to be true.
Was this what inspiration was for me?
That quality is good. See, so there's visions that he knew that weren't true. He had to believe in the lies to feel, or what do you say? He had to feel that they were real to be real, I think is what he said.
The lies had to feel true for them to become true.
See, so now that makes me wonder how much of this is actually real. Or maybe I'm just too I'm probably reading too much into it. You know what we should do? We should watch an Alan Wake explanation video once we get done with this game. I think I'm gonna do that.
You have one new message.
Al! Are you still asleep? Wakey, wakey! You should have your show on your TiVo. If Alice wasn't too mad to record it. Now, she called me earlier and really chewed me out. Yeah, we went a little overboard last night. But parties are a part of this business. Al, look, I'm saying this as your friend. She's not doing your career any favors by trying to run your life like that, okay? I'll talk to you later, Al. Watch the show!
Barry, I think that's some not too great of advice.
I'd been a guest on the talk show the previous night, talking about my latest book. The show was supposed to be waiting for me on our TiVo.
Let's check it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Harry Garrett Show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wait,
everybody.
is this live action?
We have a great show tonight. I've been talking with the best-selling author Alan Wake about his new book, The Sudden Stop.
Yeah, good read. Go buy it.
No, it is a good read. Look, I'm gonna be honest here.
Is that wise?
No, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I got people who give me the lowdown on books. I'm a busy guy. But this one, I actually read from cover to cover. I mean, I'm a big fan.
Wow, thanks.
Now, this might be a spoiler for those who haven't read the book yet. Based on the sales figures, the 2 people out there who haven't read the book yet. But this last book is all about the death of the main character, the hard-boiled New York detective, Alex Casey. Now, there's been a lot of outrage about this. Why the hell did you kill Casey? What the hell were you thinking, man?
Good riddance. No, seriously though. 7 years and 6 books is a long time.
He was a gloomy guy to spend all your working hours with, and it was a good run. But it's time to explore new things. My next book will be a departure from the old for me.
You selfish bastard, always thinking of yourself. Well, you've certainly given us a lot of entertainment over the years. And now that you mention it, Casey was a gloomy guy. Never had much luck with his love ladies. That autobiographical in any way?
Yeah, no kidding. Casey's lady friends tended to die on him. With Casey, it was all about his pain. No, nothing autobiographical about that. I'm a happily married man. My wife is my muse.
Well, congratulations. That's great to hear. So, how's the publicity tour been treating you?
Good, great. But I gotta say, I'm glad to be back home in New York.
Well, you've certainly been on the news a lot lately. Lots of parties and, you got into a fight with some paparazzi.
Oh, man. Well, that guy was really in my face. I lost my temper. I know that wasn't cool.
You are famous for that temper.
Well, I did also write several books.
Well, your latest novel is called The Sudden Stop, and it's in bookstores now. Go get it. That means the two of you out there who haven't bought it yet. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all we have for you tonight. I want to thank all our guests for the evening. Alan Wake, Sam Lake. Once more, do the face for Sam. There it is. And our musical guests, Poets of the Fall. Thank you, and good night.
At least I'd been funny. I told myself I could live with that.
Hey, honey. Did you watch the show?
I didn't say anything stupid, if that's what you want to know.
Okay, Grumpy. You want an aspirin or something?
Are you going to start with me about drinking now?
You know what?
I should have followed her
Go back to sleep,
advice.
Alan.
But suddenly I was angry, mostly at myself. And she was...
What the hell was up with that cut?
What? Now you can't even talk to me?
Well, this morning I was angry because you said you'd be home at midnight and you showed up at 7 a.m. and passed out in mid-sentence. Now I'm over it. Are you angry?
This goddamn tour. It's gotten out of hand.
Oh, honey. It's almost over, right? We can get back to normal. Then you can start writing again.
I'm sorry, honey.
Alan, you're not thinking straight. Just take a shower and go back to bed, huh?
Yeah, you're right, honey. I'm sorry. Once this is over, let's go away together. A vacation. Just you and me. Some peace and quiet. Somehow, the clicker was the key to the cabin. I had to return to Cauldron Lake to save Alice. I'm going back to the lake to finish this. I'm going to write an ending to the story in the manuscript on my own terms, to make it all right.
Why can't you just write it here?
The last page is still in the typewriter. I need to read it first. Everything needs to be just right. Zane tried to cut some corners, and it didn't end well.
Okay, ready when you are.
I'm sorry, Sarah, but I need to do this alone. Barry, take her gun.
Why he pointing the
Miss
gun
Reed,
at her?
Close the door when I leave.
I feel like that's a little bit excessive.
Good luck, Al.
Every time I see Al, I think it's talking about AI.
When I got out, it was warm and sunny. I'd flicked the switch of the clicker. Had it done this? I didn't stop to question it. I had to take advantage of the sunlight to get to the lake. On Zane's page, I'd stood on the rim of Cauldron Lake, about to use the clicker. That's where I was headed.
The deer float.
Alone, in daylight, surrounded by the beauty of the Pacific Northwest landscape. It was hard not to let doubt creep in one last time. I could still chalk everything up to a dream, a delusion. I had enough imagination to make up something like this, having been in the cabin all this time, trapped in a story inside my head, gone mad from grief over Alice's death like Hartman had claimed. There would be no way of knowing. I told myself, It didn't really matter. My course was set.
I wonder how we're gonna get Alice back. I mean, I know how we're gonna get Alice back, but I wonder, like, maybe the better. I can't wait till we see Alice back. See, in the last playthrough, not the last playthrough, but in the clip just before this one, there was a thermos right there. Unless that was at the next stop. Here, let's see if it's up here. Has to be. No. What? I guess not. There's a battery there. I don't think we need a battery though. Okay, after this, after that little scenic route right there, we have not made it this far. So now all of this, it's like, Danny, I didn't even play that much before I stopped the recording. But I just really wanted a good recording. What can I say? Now, I feel like I have been cutting a bit much or a bit too much, but I will say, since we're like still at the beginning of the episode, is that I do cut and I will be cutting pieces of the video that aren't really relevant, or see, you see how right now I'm just wandering around. If I don't find anything, or I feel like it's not really worth keeping, I'm just gonna be cutting stuff out. So I'm just gonna throw that in, and that goes for every future video too. Cause I don't want to be. I don't want to have y'all watch like a whole movie-length video over here, you know. I'm excited though, how this is, as how. Fuck, I can't fucking speak, dude. I am excited though, as this is the last episode. Wait, I wanted that truck. I wanted the truck. I wonder if that cabin has anything, or this little farm. Ooh, look at that. Speaking of the thermos. Damn. Oh my god. Great.
The darkness had touched me. There was a link between us, always would be. I could feel its presence again, getting closer.
Oh, are we really gonna have to walk all the way over there? And it's dark.
Kill your wife.
Yeah, we knew this already. My aim is shitty right now. Oh my god. At least I still have that high-powered flashlight. my god, we are gonna have to run it all the way up there.
The dark presence was no longer trying to capture the writer so he could create the ending it wanted. The writer knew too much. He was too strong. And he carried a weapon left behind by Thomas Zane, something that could hurt it. Now, the darkness was doing everything in its power to simply stop the writer from ever reaching Cauldron Lake and the dark place it came from.
Perfect. Yeah, I ain't stopping for you. I ain't stopping for you. What is this? What is this? What are this? Let's look around the building first. Let's look around. Okay, okay. Nothing crazy. Okay, these doors don't open. I'm guessing we can only open the office. Oh shit. Damn, why did that door open so hard? Was this where Nightingale was staying at?
This had obviously been the room where Agent Nightingale had stayed when he hadn't been busy harassing me.
He has that book from what was his name? Whitman. I forgot his name. I just choked. Barry, the fisherman dude, the bridge, Randolph. I think that's Randolph. I can't tell if that's Alice or the sheriff. Oh no, that's Rose. Can't tell who this picture is. Is there a light in here? Flashbangs. Oh my god, that scared me. Oh my god.
Could have fooled me, pal.
The office worker. I think I'll stick with the hunting rifle. What is this? The Majestic Motel General Information. Refundable $100 security deposit is required on all reservations. No personal checks accepted. We take all major credit cards and bank cards. Checkout time is 10 a.m. No loud music, no pets. One vehicle per unit. Facilities are for registered guests only. No visitors are allowed on the premises after 9 p.m. No exceptions. We hope you enjoy your stay at the Majestic. If you're a senior or a vet, ask about our discounts.
Based on the signature in the motel register, Agent Nightingale had stayed here, in room number 2.
Yeah, we figured that out, though. I think that's it. Can we check it there? You know, I'm starting to think that it's the lighting in this game, or it's the way this game looks, that makes me feel like my eyes are fuzzy, like blurry. Oh no. What shall I do? Maybe take the sidewalk. Ah, shit, we can't take the sidewalk. Maybe. Oh my god. My car's bugging out. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna have to... But I'm gonna do it so they can't follow me. Like... We're about to Austin Powers this bitch. Oh my god, I hate that the camera moves. You know what? Fuck it. This is as close as we're gonna get.
What the hell?
What's that thing over there? Looks like it has horns. Imagine that's the creature that's been tormenting us. Brother. Oh my god, dude, I don't know what path to stay. Everything just... Bruh. It was just, you know, that was very convincing. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. I'm not gonna waste a battery. I'm not gonna waste a battery. What the fuck? You're dead, bro! What the fuck is going on? Dude! That was weird. Dude, what am I getting stuck on? Oh shit, is that a, what do you call those? Is that a trophy truck? Jesus. There's a light in here. My car is smoky. Alright, swap car, swap, swap, swap. Is there no thermal in here? See, exactly what I was talking about earlier is just, I'm going to be roaming around a lot. It's going to be a lot of cutting. God, playing this game really makes me squint a lot. Dude, that thing's pretty strong if it's able to. Oh my god. But that thing's. I mean, it's lifting up cars, so I mean. And I'm frickin' stuck. Well, damn, what the hell? Here we go again. Come on, we can fit through that. Come on. No, no! Hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. No, no. God damn. Okay, there's a reason they're giving us flares. There's a reason. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. You know what? Get off of me! Dude, can you shoot this tank? Like, Jesus, dude.
The bottom of Cauldron Lake was a graveyard of things the lake had claimed in one way or another over the decades. The dark presence brought them up in its wake, scattering the rotten waterlogged hull of an old boat here, the remains of a long-ago crashed airplane there, trees shattered under the impacts. The earth groaned. It didn't even notice.
We got our car back. We got our car back. I hate this camera. Or at least I hate the camera for the car. That was kind of perfect, not gonna lie. It's almost like that was intentional. There's a manuscript.
Zane cut its heart out, but it didn't die. The thing that wore Barbara's face kept crooning sweet nothings sugar-laced with poison. He put on the suit, untied the monster from the chair. The thing in his arms thrashed weakly, but he held fast. He stepped outside, off the pier, and into the dark water, a sinking pinprick of light descending toward a bottom that never came.
Man, what are you doing? What are you doing? How about you butt out? How about you butt out? But I do know this thing's going down.
When I told Barry my plan back in the well-lit room, I'd acted as if I knew what I was doing. I didn't. I was operating on the shifting logic of a dream. I had to fight my way to the lake through the horrors of the night. I had to flick an old battered light switch imbued with childhood magic. I had to write a happy ending to a horror story. I had to save my wife from the dark prison she was being held in.
God damn, my fucking eyeballs hurt. Damn, Alan, you strong. Is that a Shigoni? You know what? Let's do it. Why not?
I will never give her to you.
Oh my god, Alan, shoot this dude, bruh. Damn, why do you keep stumbling? God damn, Fergie over here. Alan, shoot, bro. Why did you stop shooting? God damn. I have to spam this damn controller, man. No turning back now. I ain't playing no games. I ain't playing no games. Oh, I can't turn all the way. Alright, how about y'all, how about all of y'all stand right next to each other? Like right here. Alright, y'all do it again.
The dark place I found myself in was unlike anything I could ever have imagined. It wasn't solid. It flowed. It was conceptual and subjective. For someone else, an artist in another field, it would have been very different. I could sense the story of the manuscript all around me, the words and ideas floating in the air, poised to become real.
You know, I really do wonder how this would have looked for a different artist. You know, like how he said, someone in a different profession. Profession? Just roll with it. Just go with it.
I could see Mirror Peak in the distance. That's where Cauldron Lake was.
Damn, we got a long way to go. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, we're gonna get attacked by birds. Yep, look, here they come. Jesus. What is this? Opportunist, dude, I swear. Oh my god, dude. Look, and it made me fall. Oh my god, dude. These camera works are not it, dude. What is the point of this? I mean, you know what? I'm gonna go down just because I see that. I'm gonna jump off. I keep trying to press L3 to run. Not gonna lie, dude. I know I just kind of said that right now, but I hate it that it forces the camera off. Or it forces the camera in a different direction just to show you where they're coming from, like, dude. And I know it's too late to be bringing that up now, but but to me, every time I start a recording for this game, it feels like it's my first time playing. That's gonna hit me. Nope. Damn. He's like your buddy. I wish I had better lighting so I could turn the lights off. Get some LEDs up in this bitch. But where would I put them though?
Damn.
Because this room is not it. Okay, dude. You know what? You know what? Come here. I ain't doing all that. I ain't doing all that. God, I fucking hate this shit. They're just spammy, dude. That's all they are. They're just spammy. Did I get the other one too? Nope. God, you are chicken shit, dude. Dude, look, these camera angles are fucking me up, dude. Like, fuck me, man. Why do you have to divert my camera to some other angle? Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. You know what? That was pretty dope and it worked in my favor. And put a flare down. Nevermore, motherfucker. Nevermore. That's what do you fuck? What do you call it when you're bringing something back from the start? That's shit. I don't know.
Oh crap.
How about we not go that way? Easy. Bruh. Man, she mad. She really mad. She's strong, too. What? Blow him up, blow him up. Yeah. You see it. You see it once. You see. How do you say it? You see it once. You see it once. It's all the same, or however that phrase goes. Oh, but he's not there no more, huh? Just spam flashbangs at them. Gotta be better than that. Gotta be better than that. Oh no. My light bulb.
After Zane had gone, I stood alone in the shifting dream that was the dark place. I had to find a way to the cabin. I'd written myself a way through this place in the manuscript. I followed the idea of a path. I'd written myself across the ocean that blocked my way, and with that, there was a bridge to the island beyond. The idea of the cabin flickered in the underwater darkness. I willed the cabin to be real, and it was.
Turn back now.
Shut up, Barbara. Finally.
Do as you're told.
She knows that she lost already.
Alice never loved you.
Oh yeah, that when she says that, when they say that, they know they lost already. So they're just throwing blatant lies at you. She's throwing lies at me. She's throwing fucking imagery at me, dude. She's going all out psychological warfare on me. Why does it? It does kind of look like we're underwater, though.
You can't win.
Bruh. Oh my god! They need to watch your step sign right there. Oh my god, that actually blinded me too.
You can't win.
What the fuck? Oh my god, dude. Okay. This time we gotta be careful.
You can't win.
And go. And go. Oh!
You will fail.
What do we do here? What do we do here? I don't know what we're... Wait, flare! And flare! Shit, reload. Flare! Yeah!
It's all in your head. You're making this up.
You will not stop! Oh shit, it just fell down. Oh fuck. You will not stop me. You are going down. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Cutscene! Cutscene! It's over. Alice!
hell?
Shh, baby. You were having a bad dream.
Damn, why is she
It
so?
was just another nightmare.
Why is she so sweaty?
No.
Everything's fine. You're home.
Oh no, she
It
ain't
wasn't a
sweaty. That
dream.
she's veiny.
Everything's fine.
Oh my
Turn the lights
god,
on.
dude.
Turn the lights on!
Shh, baby. The power's out. There's no light. Come back to bed and I'll make you forget all about your fear of the dark.
My fear? It's your fear. Why aren't you afraid? You're not Alice. Turn the lights on now. Where's the clicker? What did you do with it?
Alan, honey, you're still 1 foot in a dream. You're not making any sense. Come back to bed.
Find the clicker. The clicker.
Alan, you're scaring me now. Come back to bed. Have you
Alice,
taken your pills?
shut
Do you want me to
up.
call Dr. Hartman? I read your manuscript. It's brilliant. Departure is your best work yet. You're a genius.
Goddamn.
I'm so proud of you.
Goddamn.
Come back to bed. We'll talk more about it in the morning. Come back to bed, Alan.
Come back to bed, Tom.
Oh shit. Oh, it's Thomas Zane!
You must find your way to the cabin. It stands in your way. It won't let you pass. It has no heart. It's filled with darkness. You must fill its heart with light. Don't mind him. He's Mr. Scott. Your friends will meet him when you're gone.
Damn, he looked fucking evil.
Use the clicker.
Jesus, dude. Checkpoint reached. Thermos. Bird. Barrel. Actually, we... Path. There you go.
I'm leaving you.
What?
I'm leaving you, Alan. I met someone. I'm in love with someone else.
Alice? No, what are you saying? You can't.
You don't.
I bet you it's Hartman too.
How could you? You don't even love yourself. All you do is torture yourself with work you can't do anymore.
No, I love you more than anything in the world. You're my muse.
I'm not.
Who are you? What have you done with my Alice?
Alan? What are you doing? Put the light back on.
What does that say?
Alan, stop. Put the light
Telephone
back on.
pole.
It wasn't true. Nothing like that had ever happened. You're not my Barbara.
Tom, let me go. I promise to be good. Please, untie me, you naughty boy. I will help you write your masterpiece. I will love you forever.
No, you're not Barbara Jagger. I made a terrible mistake. I should have never written you back. You came back wrong. Your heart is filled with darkness.
Put that knife away, Thomas. Put it down.
My heart is filled with darkness. I'll cut it out. I'll take you back to the depths you came from.
Jesus.
Filled with darkness.
Get away from me, you hag.
Now you will never get her back.
much older than you. Older than your first work of art. I will find a new face to wear. Someone else to dream me free.
I could feel Alice's presence close by. I understood what I had to do now. I knew how to write the ending to Departure. There's light and there's darkness. Cause and effect. There's guilt and there's atonement. But the scales always need to balance. Everything has a price. That's where Zane had gone wrong. There's a long journey through the night back into the light.
Alice? Alice? Oh no!
Alan? Alan?
And in time for the parade. Honestly, dude, I'm still fucking confused. Oh my god, the White Knight. So what happened to all the people who were shadows? Oh, there you go. So what, is she the new Lady in Light or something, or what?
It's not a lake.
Bro, what the fuck? What the fuck? Hit my grandma with a pack of cabbage. I saw some people say that you should play the special ones, the signal. Oh my god, dude, at this point I feel like just watching a fucking explanation video instead of fucking doing this bullshit.
He was lost. He couldn't find the exit.
The shifts were getting more severe. I wasn't sure if the place got bigger or I got smaller. The signal was going haywire. I would have to find my way out of here on my own.
Dude, like what the fuck, dude? Oh my god, I'm done, bro. I'm fucking done. Bro, we have to finish it. I almost
The
just
shifts
gave
were
up.
getting more severe. I wasn't sure.
I'm
if
not
the
gonna
place
lie,
got
I
bigger
almost gave up on
or
this.
I got smaller.
Because
The
I'm getting
signal
kind of
was
annoyed
going
at this.
haywire. I would have to find my way out of here on my own.
And my game. Okay, you know what? That's a sign. That's a sign. I'm done. Okay. So since my game crashed, so I was getting annoyed of the gameplay. I was getting hell of annoyed. And then on top of that, I ended the recording. And then I was like, no, I gotta do it. I gotta do it. So I started recording again. I started recording again. Only to start. And the game crashed. Or whatever it did. It had an error and it closed the game. So I took that as a sign to just stop. So I'm just gonna watch a video explaining Alan Wake. Let's watch this one, I guess.
Hello, and welcome to another installment in the Law & Order video series, where I look at and unpack stories from games. Previously, we explored Blair Witch, and if that wasn't mind-bending enough, today we're going to be going even more mind-bending in talking about Alan Wake. Originally coming out back in 2010, the game, which was heavily inspired by Stephen King and Twin Peaks, got the remaster treatment earlier this year. It shared everything that the original had, great gameplay and a linear plot, with better facial animations and nicer graphics. I thoroughly enjoyed playing through it again.
For some reason, I thought I was watching this on the laptop, so I hit spacebar and it ended the recording. I was going to stop it and say that if it's going to explain the story of Control as well, that's actually pretty good because I was kind of lost on that game as well.
And after all those years, but let me tell you, the story was still just as confusing. Now, there will be spoilers in this video for Alan Wake and Control, so if you haven't played the games and want to, here is your 5-second warning. Don't say I didn't tell you.
3, 2, 1.
The year is 2010. A man named Alan Wake is driving rather fast round a winding road, and all of a sudden he hits a man standing still in the road. Shocked, he gets out to find the guy dead, looks around, but when he looks back again, the guy's gone. He comes to his senses and heads to a lighthouse. As he's heading down the road, he's attacked by a strange shadowy figure. He runs at him and Alan has to run away. Receiving a gun and a flashlight from a mysterious figure in a diving suit, he has to defeat the shadow people with light and shoot them to kill them. He has to run for his life towards the lighthouse as what seems to be a dark wind or a tornado is eating up everything in his path. He gets to the lighthouse and then he wakes up. It was all a dream. Alan, who is a best-selling crime fiction author, and his wife Alice, a photographer, are headed on a vacation to an old mining town called Bright Falls in Washington. A break which, they hope, will help Alan through his 2-year-long writer's block. Alice drops Alan off at a diner to pick up a key from a local mechanic named Carl Stuckey. However, when he gets there, a strange woman approaches him and tells him that Stuckey can't make it and hands him a key and directions to the cabin they rented. They go to the cabin located right smack bang in the middle of Cauldron Lake. Alice wanted him to try something new, so she arranged to have a type.
It's not a lake. It's an ocean.
To put into the cabin, and she mentions a doctor called Dr. Hartman, who helps creative people overcome their difficulties, and Alan freaks out, overreacts, shouts at Alice, and leaves the cabin. All of a sudden, Alice screams and Alan investigates.
You know, I kind of wonder what would have happened if Alan didn't storm out of the cabin like that. Or was that also written in part of the story? Just a little thought.
However, Alice is gone, seemingly having been dragged into the lake. Alan dives in after her, but seems to black out and wakes up somewhere different, what seems to be 1 whole week later, having crashed his car despite having no memory of it. Alice is nowhere to be seen. Alan makes his way to a nearby gas station, but on the way he's attacked by the same type of shadow people from his earlier dream. The mysterious figure drops a manuscript at Alan's feet and he reads the front page, Departure, by Alan Wake. It seems that an idea for a book which Alan had no memory of writing was in his hands in front of him. He soon finds that what is written in the manuscript is coming true. Along the way, finding more manuscript pages from this book that he has seemingly written himself, he manages to make it to the gas station to use a phone. He calls the police, but when he mentions his wife, Alice, has gone missing while staying at the cabin in the lake, the officer, Sheriff Sarah Breaker, responds and tells him that the island that the cabin was located on doesn't even exist and hasn't existed since the big volcanic eruption of the 1970s. Officer Breaker has Alan checked out by a local doctor at the police station. Alan lies about his symptoms and the doctor tells him Sheriff Breaker wants to speak with him. She has charged his phone for him and he gets a phone call. It's a man who claims to have Alice and he tells him to go outside to check an old junker. It's Alice's driver's license. The kidnapper wants to meet Alan at a place called Lover's Peak and he'll hand over Alice in exchange for the finished manuscript for Departure. He then receives a call from his agent Barry, who has arrived in Bright Falls. Later on, Alan meets the kidnapper at their agreed meeting place. Alan briefly sees the mysterious old woman who gave him the keys to the cabin and the kidnapper, and after confessing that he never even had Alice, he and Alan are thrown into Cauldron Lake by a dark tornado of some sort. Alan, to his bewilderment, wakes up in a lodge under the apparent care of Dr. Emil Hartman, the doctor that Alice mentioned when they arrived at the cabin. Hartman claims that Alan is suffering from a psychotic break and that the bizarre goings-on are simply imagined up by Alan. Lo and behold, the mysterious dark force attacks the lodge and Alan manages to escape with Barry's help, but not before he finds out that Hartman was the one who ordered the kidnapper to stop Alan from leaving. Alan and Barry start to learn what is actually happening, and the mysterious dark force is called the Dark Presence, which is trapped beneath Cauldron Lake. The Dark Presence is trying to use the lake's apparent power to get out. The Dark Presence had grown strong enough to influence the residents of Bright Falls to attack Alan. Alan and Barry get drunk, but Alan has a vision of himself writing Departure the week before. Alan realizes that the Dark Presence took Alice and is holding her beneath the lake in order to manipulate Alan into writing so that it can escape. He is guided on what to do next by a song by the local band, the Old Gods of Asgard. Before they can make a move though, Alan and Barry are arrested by an FBI agent called Nightingale, who locks them up in the Bright Falls Police Department. However, the agent reads one of the manuscript pages, realizing that what he is reading is happening right now, and before he can react in line with what was written on the page, he is dragged away by the Dark Presence. Sheriff Breaker, who did not believe it was a real threat, is now convinced by the Dark Presence's existence, and she helps Alan and Barry reach a lady named Cynthia Weaver, who seems to know all about the Dark Presence and its dangers. She takes them to the well-lit room, which contains an old light switch called the Clicker, which possesses some sort of ability that can defeat the Dark Presence. Alan leaves to defeat the Dark Presence. Alan encounters the mysterious old woman and defeats her with the Clicker. Alan jumps into the dark place, sacrificing himself so that Alice can escape, and she emerges back into reality again. Alan sits down to complete Departure, but is himself now trapped in the dark place. The game then ends. There are of course 2 DLCs which add to the main story. In the first, The Signal, Alan finds himself in a surreal version of Bright Falls, but realizes that he is in fact still in the dark place. Alan is directed to follow a signal through a phone in order to try and guide himself through the dark place. He encounters some TVs which show himself, but a version of himself which is more maniacal and disturbed by something. This version of himself calls upon dark forces and taken to attack Alan. Alan finds out that he himself is the reason that he is in the dark place. That the character on the TV screens is simply an irrational version of himself consumed by fear. Alan destroys the TVs but realizes that he is still in the dark place. And then in the second DLC, The Writer, Alan discovers that Irrational Al is still controlling the dark place from the cabin, and Alan must fight back control to stand any chance of escaping. Alan arrives at a lighthouse despite being accosted by Irrational Al and reaches the cabin. Forced to fight off illusions of Barry, Alan enters the cabin and finds Irrational Al on the floor, but the two merge together when Alan touches him. Realizing that this irrational version of himself came about from the fear of not being able to escape, he realizes that he can't just carry on fearing that and sits down to write a new book called...
Wait, so if that fear came from him thinking he wasn't able to escape, is that why in the game, before I stopped playing it, Thomas Zane kept telling him, "You're going deeper, you're going deeper, I can't find you," was because Alan Wake, the irrational Alan Wake, was so scared of that's how he was writing it, or that's how he was thinking of it, which caused the real Alan Wake to continue deeper into I guess that dream or whatever, that world.
Return. So let's look at our protagonist. As we know already, Alan Wake is a best-selling crime fiction writer who, when the game started, was suffering from 2-year writer's block. We learn through sections in the game that as a kid, Alan was afraid of the dark, so much so that his mother gave him an old light switch named the Clicker, which had the power to banish darkness. Despite not really knowing his father, Alan was given the impression that it belonged to him. This helped Alan overcome his fear of the dark. It was as a child that Alan became best friends with Barry, who of course would later become his agent too. Later on in life, after having his first story published, Alan got a job being a writer in the series on television called Night Springs. His script, which he wrote for his audition, depicted a secret organization called the Federal Bureau of Night Springs, an organization which investigated parallel dimensions. This launched Alan's...
Wait. No way. Hold up.
Script, which he wrote for his audition, depicted a secret organization called the Federal Bureau of Night Springs, an organization which investigated parallel dimensions. This launched Alan's career, and he wrote a 6-book series called Alex Casey. Alan was actually a violent man and drank heavily. He later met Alice, and they got married. After Alan gets writer's block, this leads us to the events of the game, and Alice and Alan head to Bright Falls.
Thomas Zane.
This is one name that comes up a lot in the events of Alan Wake. So, who exactly was Thomas Zane? I mean, we only see him in a diving suit occasionally. Thomas Zane, prior to his death, was a well-known poet who wrote a lot about Cauldron Lake. He wrote these poems with the help of his lover and his muse, Barbara Jagger. This relationship is what inspired the song by the old gods of Asgard, the poet and the muse. This was until Barbara, despite allegedly being a strong swimmer, drowned while swimming in Cauldron Lake. His assistant writer was none other than Dr. Emil Hartman, who mentioned the legend that the lake itself had supernatural power attached to it.
Wait, hold on.
Being a strong swimmer, drowned while swimming in Cauldron Lake. His assistant writer was none other than Dr. Emil Hartman, who
so his assistant writer was him?
mentioned the legend that the lake itself had supernatural power attached to it and that Zane could just write Barbara back into reality. He was successful, but Barbara brought back something we know as the dark.
Wait, so does that mean that Emil Hartman was kind of to blame for whatever rose up? Because he's the one that gave Thomas Zane that idea.
Presence back with her. This dark presence possessed Barbara, and feeling like his Barbara was still dead and that this was not the real Barbara, Zane cut her heart out, seeing only darkness within. Fearing what he had done and the damage that had come with it, Zane used the same power in the lake to write himself and the island out of existence in an attempt to reverse everything. This is likely what leads to the volcanic eruption event, which is referenced by Sheriff Breaker at the end of Chapter 1. Zane, like Alan, is trapped in the dark place, but how did he get there? Well, because Zane wrote everything involved out of existence, he too became trapped. However, Zane decided to leave behind a shoebox with his belongings inside in the real world, as a failsafe of sorts. In this box, the Clicker, which we see Alan use to defeat the dark presence. At one point in the game, we see that Alan mentions he had the Clicker since he was a kid, and also that Thomas Zane wrote about Alan's childhood. This leads us to believe that these events were written into reality by Thomas Zane himself, and this also heavily implies that Alan's life is purely a work of fiction, driven by the writings of Thomas Zane. Anyway, Zane put on a diving suit, dived into the lake and into the dark place beneath it. He sacrificed his own physical body to the bright presence, which is the presence which helps Alan at points in the game, And after reciting another of his poems, his spirit, along with Barbara's, continued to live in a parallel world that he had created together in peace. Still massively confused? No worries.
Not really, honestly. I'm kind of keeping up. I'm keeping up.
So Barbara, as we know, is the woman in black, but what is her role in all of this? So remember that Alan somehow lost a week of his life with no memory of what happened, only to realise that he'd written an entire story in that time? Well, Barbara tricked Alan into writing what was essentially a horror story. She told him that if he did this for her, he would get Alice back. The story latched onto the power of Cauldron Lake and allowed Jagger to take over the entire town, in the process turning residents into mindless, dark-filled entities called Taken, which roamed the town.
Hold on. I kind of blanked out. I was thinking about the story, not what he's saying.
Barbara, as we know, is the woman in black, but what is her role in all of this? So remember that Alan somehow lost a week of his life with no memory of what happened, only to realise that he'd written an entire story in that time? Well, Barbara tricked Alan into writing what was essentially a horror story. She told him that if he did this for her, he would get Alice back. The story latched onto the power of Cauldron Lake and allowed Jagger to take over the entire town, in the process turning residents into mindless, dark-filled entities called Taken, which roamed the town and the woods.
I just call them
The
shadows.
Dark Presence did try on 3 occasions to enter the real world and I guess take over the world, but failed. Once with Thomas Zane when he brought a possessed Barbara back to the surface, once with the old gods of Asgard, and once again with Alan Wake. Alan, being a pretty sharp bloke, caught him to the fact that Jagger was lying about letting him have Alice back, so Alan wrote Thomas Zane into the story to help him and protect him against the Dark Presence. This is why Alan is able to use a flashlight to defeat Taken and objects possessed by the Dark Presence. He is harnessing and drawing from the power of the Bright Presence. A little complicated, but stay with me.
My name is Frankenstein.
Oh my god.
As we already know, this lake houses the entrance to the Dark Place, which we also know by now is a supernatural location. An altered reality, which is basically where reality and fiction blend together. In the game, we can see that Cauldron Lake was considered by Native American tribes to be a gateway to the underworld. It essentially allowed creative writers or artists to bring their work to life, therefore blending reality and fiction. Even the water in the lake seemed to be special. At one point in the game, Alan and Barry get drunk off of moonshine, which uses water from the lake as one of its key ingredients. Seeming to clear the mind of the consumer, it allowed Alan to completely and clearly recall the week of which he had no memory of. The Dark Place is essentially a mirror of the real world above, much like Silent Hill's alternate reality. It's alleged that many dark entities exist in the vast expanse that is the Dark Place, and 2 of these are both the Dark and the Bright's presence. It seems that the Dark Place needs to maintain an order of balance, so to speak, which is why Alan was forced to exchange himself for Alice's freedom from the Dark Place, and why he is now trapped there. As mentioned, Alan then tries to write a book called Return to try and influence his escape. Whether or not this is a success, we don't know. What seems to be true though is that an entity needs a face, or rather a body, to possess in order to carry that influence and the darkness into the real world. Previously it was Barbara Jagger, but after her? Well, it's very, very possible that Agent Nightingale, who remember got dragged off by the Dark Presence, is the new Jagger, as seen at the end of the game. This shows us that if you beat the Dark Presence, you don't really defeat it, you only really defeat the vessel that it resides within. One final thing that caused a lot of confusion at the end is when Alan states, it's not a lake, it's an ocean. Now some people think that this means the vastness of the Dark Place, an endless void maybe. Not just confined to the size of the lake, but maybe global, or even larger than the actual universe. Some people think that he's simply just referring to the size of the task ahead of him. Referred to by some as Alan Wake's evil doppelganger, it's implied that Mr. Scratch was created by Thomas Zane. We mentioned earlier that the Dark Place needs balance. For example, Alan sacrificed himself so that Alice could be released from the Dark Place. Even though at the end of American Nightmare Mr. Scratch is defeated, this game is more widely considered a spin-off rather than a straight canon.
Wait, hold up.
Alice could be released from the Dark Place. Even though at the end of American Nightmare Mr. Scratch is defeated, this game is more widely considered a spin-off rather than a straight canon. One thing that is mentioned by Thomas Zane is that he states that Mr. Scratch is the one whom Alan's friends will meet on the other side, but what does this even mean? It's made clear that Mr. Scratch wants to open the gateway for the Dark Place in order to let out all the evil entities that live there. This document also states that Mr. Scratch has taken Alan's face and his name. It seems that Mr. Scratch was born purely out of the legend of Alan's arrival and disappearance in Bright Falls, and a representation of how people viewed Alan. For example, remember that Alan had a violent disposition and he drank heavily, and this is often how he was portrayed in the media, even sometimes attacking the media. They speculated about his writing in the Alex Casey novels, and people started to suspect that he wasn't really a stable individual, and this explains the unstable nature of Mr. Scratch. But this malicious being wasn't all Zane's doing. Let me explain. We'd see a note in Remedy's 2019 game Control that urban legends, for example people's opinion on Alan, dictate the characteristics of an altered world event. But we will dive more into this in a few minutes. This means that Zane didn't create this copy of Alan to be intentionally malicious, but Mr. Scratch was made to be this way based on other people's perceptions of Alan. I mean, there are other theories for the way Mr. Scratch was created. One such theory is that when Alice described Alan to Dr. Hartman prior to the events of the game, she could have mentioned his drinking and his violent outbursts. Given that she probably met with Hartman near Cauldron Lake and that Alice is an artist too, a photographer, this could be how Mr. Scratch was created. Mysterious indeed. Anyway, the Dark Presence possessed Mr. Scratch in a way that was similar to how the Dark Presence possessed Barbara Jagger. According to what can be seen in American Nightmare, Mr. Scratch was able to travel back and forth between the Dark Place and the real world, purposely allowing people to see him for a brief moment in order to strengthen this urban legend. Specifically Alice Wake, who was so confused by what she was witnessing and experiencing, and as a result contacted the Federal Bureau of Control. Which leads us on to our next point.
Wait, hold on. I'm rewinding this a lot.
Back and forth between the Dark Place and the real world, purposely allowing people to see him for a brief moment in order to strengthen this urban legend. Specifically Alice Wake, who was so confused by what she was witnessing and experiencing, and as a result contacted the Federal Bureau of Control. Which leads us on to our next point. So we previously mentioned that Alan, writing his audition script for the TV series, depicted a secret organization called Federal Bureau of Night Springs. Now those of you that have played Control will be aware that the Federal Bureau of Control was that secret organization. In 2019, 10 years after Wake went missing, Jesse Faden, who is the director of the FBC, enters a closed sector of the FBC.
Oh my god, dude, it's like we're like this, and with the music it feels like we're like into some deep shit, like, oh damn.
After being that secret organization. In 2019, 10 years after Wake went missing, Jesse Faden, who is the director of the FBC, enters a closed sector of the FBC after being summoned to it by an apparent apparition of Alan Wake. Basically, the Bureau is investigating an altered world event in Bright Falls and Cauldron Lake after being alerted to this event by Frank Breaker, Sheriff Sarah Breaker's father. You see, Frank used to be an FBC agent himself, and this is explored further through a comic book series, but I'm not going to dive into that for this video. After Emil Hartman's attempts to use Alan to manipulate reality for his own gain, Hartman was confronted by FBC agents who took all of his research on the subject and took away his medical license. According to the game, Hartman dove into Cauldron Lake in an attempt to study the Dark Place, but ended up being possessed and controlled by the Dark Presence himself. At some point, Hartman was contained at the FBC, but escaped, forcing the FBC to abandon and shut down that part of the building. In Control, the antagonistic force in that game is called the Hiss. And basically the Hiss overpowered Hartman and the Dark Presence. The two entities merged and Hartman became a different kind of entity who was eventually defeated by Jesse. Anyway, despite it being in the same universe as Alan Wake, Control is a different game, so we won't go too far into that. One thing that is very interesting in the Altered World event DLC is that Zane appears as Alan. I mean, we know that Zane isn't really Zane, it's just Zane's body possessed by the Bright Presence, as discussed earlier, but it seems possible that this is Mr. Scratch just messing with Alan's head, as he seems to be more malicious than we know Zane to be. Oh, but who knows? So it seems from the off that Agent Nightingale has a chip on his shoulder and a real hatred and disdain for Alan in particular. In the game, we come across his motel room and it seems that he's been doing surveillance in the town for a while. But why is he so mad? Well, one theory that's floating around is that Nightingale arrived in Bright Falls with his partner and Alan killed him off earlier on in the manuscript, so Nightingale suspected Alan was responsible and wanted revenge. But was Nightingale even real? Did Alan make him up? Certainly possible. Well, as we mentioned earlier, there has to be a balance in the dark place. Alan can't just simply write himself an escape because there is nothing to replace him in the dark place. Remember that Alan had to dive into the dark place so that Alice could be released. You aren't able to just write what you want. So even though Alice escaped the dark place thanks to Alan's sacrifice, it's mentioned in Control that she's suffered memory loss and possibly doesn't even remember the dark place at all, and likely doesn't know that Alan sacrificed himself for her. She probably just assumes that he's missing, and bear in mind it's been 10 years, so we don't really know what happened to Alice after the interview in Control. This game is so...
Wait, so after Alice gets out of the lake, she never sees Alan Wake again. Now he might have said this already, you know. He started confusing me now with all this other stuff. But so so she never saw Alan Wake after Alan Wake saved her from the lake. Is that because Alan Wake stayed stuck in the dark place, or because he tried fighting the shadow? I don't know.
Hard to speculate on purely due to the fact that because Remedy are so secretive about, well, everything, there are so many theories floating around on what is actually going on. Some of which include that Alan is simply just asleep. Another is that there's an Inception type of situation going on here, which is that someone else has written a story about a guy called Thomas Zane, who has in turn written a story about Alan Wake. A story within a story, if you like. But yeah, it seems like after 10 years, Alan is still stuck in the dark place, hoping and waiting for a chance to escape. I guess we'll need an Alan Wake 2, given that there are still so many questions left unanswered. It's very likely that this will be the enactment of the return story that Alan is writing in order to aid his release. But anyway, that is it for this one. I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, remember to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment down below about what you thought and your theories on the game. But for now, take care and I will see you in the next one.
Something I forgot to mention. Mr. Scratch would also go back to the real world to torment Alice Wake, and would then disappear, leading to the point in which she decided to contact the Federal Bureau of Control. It appears that Alice Wake managed to capture a photograph of Alan whilst he was tormenting her. Wish we could see that photograph. Here. Oh shit. Alright, here we go. Oh my god. God damn. Dude, I know for a fact if I saw that shit from a person that I knew was missing, and here's that missing person yelling at me like that, dude, I'd be fucking scared too. God damn. Let me give this guy a like. Okay, so I got everything right, but the ending was just what I was confused on. He saves Alice for... I don't even know how to word it. He saves Alice by replacing her with himself, which then, in turn, lets her leave the dark place and then traps himself in the dark place. Then later tries to escape the dark place, but ends up going deeper, where Thomas Zane tries helping him. Or rather, he wrote Thomas Zane in the story to try and help him. So that was basically what I was stuck on. And then after that is Alan Wake has still been in the dark place 10 years after the story of this first game. So I'm guessing that's what Alan Wake 2 is going to be about when we start playing that. So now that we have that confirmed, or that a little I understood, I think I'm now comfortable enough to say that I understood the game. So, I'm gonna leave it at that.
It's you.
The story was hella crazy.
What the hell is this all about?
Hella crazy.
Oh, I get it.
And
He's one of
I
those
did say that
guys,
after
huh?
this, we were gonna be
What are you
playing
talking about?
LA Noir. And then after LA Noir
He's not like anyone else.
is Alan Wake 2. Hope you guys stick around for that one. Hope you guys enjoy the LA Noir gameplay. And I'll catch you guys there. Peace.